If you want some FIFA 23 coins, please check out MMOXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're fast, cheap and reliable, and if you use code REMA you can get yourself a 5% discount. What's up everyone, it's the Custom Tactics Merchant here, and today we've got another, you guessed it, Custom Tactics video. In today's video we're going to be looking at the 4-3-3 second variation, and this is a formation I've been using alongside the 4-2-3-1 in Fut Champs this week. I like switching between the two formations because I have different options against different types of players, so it's been working really well. Just before we get started though guys, I hate to ask this, but I'd very much appreciate it if you guys could drop this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. I hate to ask this, but unfortunately it's just how YouTube is, so yeah, it's greatly appreciated. Let's get right into it. So the 4-3-3 has been great for me, especially after the buff on controlled and explosive players, because these wingers that were pretty unusable before are much better in game, because obviously you can use pace to your advantage. So sometimes using wide players is actually very effective, especially against the people that play very narrow. So the custom tactics that I use for the 4-3-3 second variation is I like to have my defensive style on balance, because again I like to press when I want to press and drop off when I want to drop off. I also don't really like pressure tactics because you do get that stamina drain now, and I honestly think they're just a little bit boring because the game does a lot for you. But again, feel free to use pressure tactics if you really want to, but I think balanced is just better. For width, I like to have this on 42 because although this is a wider formation, you still do want to defend quite narrowly, because again, a lot of people do play through the middle, so you don't want your team to be too spread out because it's very easy for somebody to play through you. Having your width on 42 also gives your player a bit of width, so when people do play down the wing, you still have it covered. It just gives you a nice compact shape in defense. Now for depth, originally I used to have this higher, but I've lowered it down to 58 because again with the pace buff, it's a lot more necessary to have a lower depth, I think, because it's just too easy for people to play through balls over the top. They're extremely strong in this game, so I think you do need to lower your depth a little bit, which is why I have it on 58, because again, it's still a nice high line, but it's just not too high where somebody can just play a ball over the top if you know what you're doing. Now for offensive tactics guys, on build-up play I just like using balanced. With some formations like the 4-2-3-1 I do use fast build-up, but that's when I have a lot of midfielders and a lot of passing options. But in the 4-3-3 it's a bit more direct football, if you get what I'm saying. So I like to use balance because again, I like to link up the play quickly when I want to, but I can also do slower build-up if I choose. So having it on balance does give you the variety when you are going forward. Now for chance creation, as ever, I suggest direct passing because it is the only one which actually gives you the correct movement from your players. As I always say, if you look at the diagram bottom right, you will see the white dots, which are your attackers, always moving about in a dynamic motion, whereas if you look at something like balance, they don't move around to create chances. Everything's very static, so it's important to have direct passing on in pretty much any formation you use. Now for offensive width, I have this on 47. This is because it's 5 higher than my defensive width, which means we defend quite narrowly and then attack a bit wider. That's just a principle that I like to use in game, and the thing with 47 width is it does give you nice attacking width, but again, they're not so wide that it's too difficult to string a pass together. You know, they keep this very nice shape where you can link up the play when you need to, but again, your wingers are still in nice wide positions. They're just a little bit closer together than if you were to say let's have 60 width. Yeah, so I like having this on 47. This is down to preference just because it gives me more control of the formation, I notice. For players in box, this one is down to preference. I like to have this on 6 because again, I do like to get players into the box, but I don't want to commit every player into the box because it's just easy to get counter-attacked. This one is also down to personal preference, but I just have it on 6 because then I have attacking options in the box, but I also have some people back to defend. Corners and free kicks again are down to preference. I just have this on 2 because I like to have some men in the box to cross the ball to, but again, I don't like being counter-attacked all the time, so having it on 2 gives me a nice balance. Now for the players you want to use, it's important to have good wingers, players that have pace, dribbling and passing, as well as shooting for when you need it. So I have have Leao and Chiesa. Chiesa is an explosive player and Leao is a control player, and like I said, after the patch, these players have gotten a lot quicker. They're a lot better now, and it's important to have these wingers because they're like your playmakers. You don't have a cam in this formation. It's important you have these players to be as good on the ball as possibly can be, because these are your main outlets in the formation. Your striker can be pretty much anybody you feel comfortable with. I like using Ronaldo because he's still very quick in this game and he's still deadly in front of goal. So I like using Ronaldo. It's important he has a good attacking work rate, like a high-low or even a medium-low. That works very well in striker position, but you do want to have a good attacking work rate. Now, interestingly, you'll see as my left centre mid, I have Diogo Jota. Now, the important thing about the left centre mid, as I'm going to show you in the player instructions, is you want a more attacking player in this role, but it's very crucial that they have a high defensive work rate, in my opinion. So Diogo Jota is a high work rate player. His defensive stats aren't the best, but because of that high defensive work rate, you don't really notice the defensive stats. And it's important that these players have good attacking stats and attributes, because again, they do contribute massively to your attack. Your CDM does need to be more of a stay back brute, so I have Patrick Vieira because again, he is very good at defending. He is a medium player, and ideally you would have like a medium high player in this position, but because Vieira's stats are that good, it does not really matter. Now your right centre mid, mine being Renato Sanchez, again you want a high player, but you want a more box to box midfielder. So Renato Sanchez has very balanced stats. He can pretty much do everything, and the high work rate again is crucial. Make sure you have that in the midfield, guys. Now your two fullbacks, these are down to preference, but I have more offensive fullbacks because I feel like it's very good for them to have good attacking stats. Not because you have to attack with them, it just gives you more control of the ball when you are using these players. If you use somebody like Kyle Walker, as much as they are solid at the back, when you do try and play out from the back, their stats can hold you back a little bit because they don't have as good a control as the ball. So when you do want to actually go forward with these players as well, you'll notice they are a lot more effective because again, their stats are just better. Now for player instructions, guys, on your striker, I just use stay central. Now on most formations, I'll have them on getting behind, but because again with the 4-3-3, you don't really have any attacking midfielders, there is a bit of a gap between your midfield and your forward. So it's important that you don't always send your striker in behind because you sometimes need him to actually link up the play. For example, if I'm playing with the ball with Renato Sanchez and Ronaldo is just running in behind, there is a massive gap from midfield to attack. So sometimes it's important for Ronaldo to, let's say, come short so Renato can pass him the ball and then he can play it out to Chiesa. That is why I have him on mixed attack, so he does a lot of everything. You want him on stay central because again, you've already got wide players, you don't need him drifting off to the wings. Now for your wide players, honestly, I just leave them alone because I don't like to limit what they do. If you put them on specific settings, they don't do enough, I notice. So having them on balanced on everything gives them more of a role in the formation, I've noticed. You know, they contribute a lot more pretty much in every way. So just leave your wingers alone. I've noticed that works very well in this game. Now, for your right centre mid, mine is Renato Sanchez. This is like your box-to-box player, like I said. Just have them on cover centre because, again, people like to play through the middle, so it's important you have this area of the pitch covered. I leave him on balanced attack because, again, he's a box-to-box player. I don't need him to stay back all the time. I need him to help transition the play from defence up to attack. If you have him on stay back while attacking, it's very difficult to do that. And like I said, the high work rate makes this more viable in FIFA 23 because they are more effective at attacking and defending. You get a more natural transition. So again, like I said, the high work rate, very important. Now for your CDM, just have them on stay back while attacking and cover center. A lot of people use cut passing lanes, but I don't really like using that anymore. The reason being is because you don't just want these players to cut passing lanes, you want them to do a bit of everything. You limit their AI when you put them on cut passing lanes or any specific setting, so leaving them on balanced defense lets them do their thing a little bit more. Now for your left centre mid, like I said, this is a more attacking player, but again, it's important to have that high work rate, like I said. So I've got Jota. I just have him on get forward, cover centre, because again, when defending, you need to cover the middle because people play through the middle, and when you are attacking, you want them to get forward, so it gives you another option when you are attacking. This is very important because, like I said, your forwards can get a little bit isolated in the 4-3-3 if you use two defensive tactics. So having him on get forward allows him to contribute to the attack, and you'll notice it becomes becomes a much more offensive formation. Now, for your fullbacks, leave them on stay back while attacking. That's what I do. And when I want to attack with them, I'll just trigger a run with L1, or if I want to make them attack by themselves, I will just use the D-pad tactics to tell them to do that. A lot of people use overlap, but again, I feel like that restricts your players. Sometimes you do want them to do an inverted run to help add extra support in the box, for example. So leaving them on mixed attacks restricts their AI a lot less, which is very important. But yeah, they are my custom tactics and player instructions for the 4-3-3 second variation. Let me know what you guys think. If you have enjoyed this video, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.